All right, so this is gonna be me talking about the new Resident Evil show. I didn't like it, right? Nobody's liking it really, fans or not. I'm only a casual Resident Evil player. I've only played a couple of the games, and I still think this show fucking sucks. It's terrible. I mean, I know of one person that likes it, and I still have no idea how. Like, and there's a couple of, I think, positive reviews. I think it's fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. I don't know how many reviews it has. It's like I would love to ask those people some questions because I don't think they can justify it. Because this is just that bad. This is one of the worst shows I've seen on Netflix, if not the worst. Uh, it's all over the place with time periods because they have the time period in the past with they're them dealing with bullies and them going to school and oh my god, one of them likes a boy who somehow is able to break through firewalls and get into security cameras and hack into computers and stuff just because he taught himself. It's like, okay, whatever, right? And there's the thing where because the whole storyline is Billy got bit by the dog when they were going in Umbrella after hours to look into some things, and and so now she's kind of turned into a zombie maybe or whatever. So they're researching that. And she's like, "Oh, you're more interested in hanging out with that boy when I might be dying." It's like it's so forced. It is. People have already said it is on the level of the CW, but the future stuff is Jade, one of the characters from the past or whatever. Jade Wesker, they're Albert Wesker's kids, played by Lance Reddick. He's probably the best part of the show. He's from the games with that character. It's nothing like he's in the game. Nothing like about this is like the games at all. The future stuff is just just a zombie show, right? Like she's helping this lady or asking this lady for help, and her husband happens to be a zombie, and so she has to end up killing him, and the lady gets upset. Like, okay, this is like some Walking Dead shit, all right? It's really just her running from place to place. There's not much story going on in the future stuff, so they don't really spend that much time on it, really. The older version of her is played by, I think her name is Ella Balenska. I remember she was in, I think, Charlie's Angels, and she's good. I mean, she's all right. For the most part, all the acting is pretty good, but you're not invested in it at all. It's just going from one place to another. Oh, I need to be smuggled. Oh, here can you smuggle me this place? And then she gets attacked. She gets knocked out over and over again, and then wakes up in a new place. She's in a jail cell with some people, some religious people that have zombies behind bars, and one of them can control the zombies. So she takes its head and like creates some kind of thing that like attracts zombies or keeps them away. It's ridiculous. But anyway, that's that storyline going on. She has to get back to her daughter or whatever, and her husband. And both those storylines are going on at the same time. It's like these storylines don't feel like they connect to each other. The older versions of, because I guess that's a spoiler, Billy's still alive. There's a question of whether she's still alive in the future. She's still alive, but she's a supervillain now. And the older versions of the girls look nothing like them. The stories don't really flow into each other at all, right? Even by the end, it doesn't even lead into the apocalypse or anything like that. Billy's just fucking insane and bites the boy that Jade likes, and then he ends up getting shot by his own mother. It's fucking insane by the end of this thing. But spoilers, I guess, for anybody who gives a fuck. But don't watch this. Don't watch it. So, yeah, it was just this. The past stuff is on the level of CW. It has some really really bad dialogue and writing. People are already talking about the Zootopia porn thing, and yeah, that line is awful.
You can have a house with all the latest bells and whistles, and plenty of room to run and play.
Right. I mostly just read Zootopia porn, so.
That line sucks, right? It's just Jade being rude, and at a certain point, she's not even like that anymore. Like, at certain points, she's still rude like that, but for the most part, like, she kind of mellows out, and it's mostly about Billy, and I hated Billy way more, because anytime somebody tried to help her, like, she's just always just going off and things like that, and it's just, she's annoying. But just the dialogue just in general, right? Like, things are happening. They're finding out certain things about their father and about Umbrella and things like that, like earth-shattering shit that's going to end up causing an apocalyptic scenario. But let's talk about how hot Jade is.
I can talk you past them.
Cool.
Why are you doing this?
I mean, yeah, she's hot, but she's not felony hot. Whoa, I kinda am. That's offensive.
Let's talk about, let's get into like a forced argument about some other shit, right? And we go away from each other just to come right back and then talk some more. Like, it's not good. And then we have all this shit about the clones and things like that. They justify the dad character Lance Reddick being Wesker at a certain point by having him in like the Matrix slash Blade cosplay. It with a really bad wig. It's like somebody was like, it feels like he wasn't supposed to be Wesker at first, and then somebody was like, oh wait, let's make him Wesker. And they're like, really? And they're like, yeah, I can get a $2 wig in a black coat, it'll be fine. It's so fucking bad, but whatever. The past stuff is annoying enough, and it sucks that you spend so much more time with that. But at a certain point, the future stuff gets annoying too. She finally gets back to the boat instead of embracing her husband or anything like that. Like, I don't even think she kisses him at that point. They don't really have much chemistry. They decide to get into a forced argument, right? For really no reason.
Okay, what if she lost you?
She didn't.
This time.
Don't do this. I'm the parent here. Me, her mother.
And I'm what? Huh? The babysitter? Look, just because I'm not her biological father doesn't mean you...
Just stop.
The future stuff turns into the CW too, especially when Billy comes back in. She's kind of talking to Jade. It's like it's on the level of like Kane and Alice and what's her name, Alice, the villain that turns out to be a sister in Batwoman. It's like it's on that level where it's like forced drama, right? You know, and then like the CW, you have the forced drama, and then the characters get back together, and you know, even after the husband feels insulted, right? She just sits on his lap, and they end up fucking at that point. It's like that conversation, that argument never happened because it's forced drama. I mean, it's CW, right? Even with forced pop songs all over the place in the soundtrack, or sad emo versions of certain songs playing over things. It's like this doesn't fit for this show, right? For the two shows that you got going on at the same time, pretty much. It's just so messy. Like whenever scene transition happens, you can like flip a coin as to whether they'll be in the same time period or not. Like it's just constantly moving, and these stories don't feel like they flow together. It's like feels like it's two different shows that they spliced together and threw Resident Evil on there. Especially by the end, man. You know, it gets crazy by the end. There's a giant crocodile out of nowhere. One of the characters is being controlled by a fucking tablet. it's like what the fuck? There's a character that's still alive in the future that doesn't look like she's aged at all. It's insane. Like Jade throws down this thing that attracts a bunch of zombies. They just pop up out of fucking nowhere. You know, she lets a zombie on the ship and it ends up killing her friend. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy, man. By the end, at least it's not boring, I guess, because it's not like just dragging and like padding out the episode. None of these episodes needed to be as long as they are, but towards the end, especially like the last two episodes, really the last one, it starts to lose its fucking mind, and it was to the point where I was like, wow, you guys just threw anything in here that you could think about, right? Like that's pretty much what it feels like at this point. It's just so messy. You cannot get invested in any of these storylines when it's constantly jumping around like this, right? When you got forced bully storyline, which is like most of the first episode, I think, and you know the Jade attacks Billy's bully with a outfit on, and then puts the fucking outfit in Billy's locker, and so obviously they're gonna assume that she did it. It's like, well, even after this girl has beat her up on video, Wesker, the father, has to come in and threaten the dad in order for him to not sue them. It's like, well, your daughter assaulted my kid on camera before, so like, how that's not gonna play into this at all, huh? It's like, okay, I mean, it's just a bad show. I mean, I'm just gonna put that out there. It's bad. The performances are good. Most of the effects look good, and you can tell that they did spend money on it. It has a decent look to it, but it felt like an endurance test, right? Where it's like, man, I don't know if I can finish this shit. I mean, it's so fucking all over the place. It's just neither of these stories feel good. Neither of them really go together, and none of it feels like the games at all. So that's it, right? It's a CW show with like a higher budget, and it just happens to be on Netflix, and it has Resident Evil in the title. So we have to like force certain things from Resident Evil, like that dog and the chainsaw guy. He's in one of these episodes. The one from Resident Evil 4, he's just randomly there, I guess, with the chainsaw. It's not good. If you've heard this is bad, I'm telling you it's worse than you've heard. I mean, just story structure, story writing, dialogue, things like that. Just like the basic stuff. Not even talking about it as an adaptation. It fucking sucks. It sucks. Whatever. Another bad Resident Evil adaptation, I guess. I mean, if you're a fan of those games, you have to be like, okay, let's not do this anymore. Because apparently it can't be done. Some things are just not meant to be adapted, I guess. I didn't even see that movie from last year. I heard that shit was trash. I heard that shit was even worse than this. Wow, that's saying something. But anyway, yeah, that's my thoughts on the Resident Evil show. The season 1, as if this is, I guess, getting a season 2. I hope it doesn't. And yeah, that's it. We're done.